She said, "I need space, not a divorce," and moved in with another man. So I canceled her card, packed her bags, and told her freedom comes with bills. Weeks later, she came back begging, but I'd already moved on. I am 34. Melissa and I had been married for 4 years. Our marriage was not a wild love story, but it felt strong and steady. Then, about 6 months ago, things started to change. It was small at first. Her phone was always face down. She came home later than before. She went out more with her friends. We stopped having the deep talks we used to have. I tried to understand. I thought maybe she was going through something she could not talk about yet. I gave her space. I did not push or ask too many questions. But one night, I asked, "Is there someone else?" She looked at me like I said something crazy. "Don't be paranoid," she said. "You're my husband, not my warden." That hurt, but I stayed quiet. I did not want to be the jealous husband who always thinks the worst. But the distance between us kept growing. Felt like we were just roommates. Then one Friday morning, while I was drinking coffee, she said, "I think we should take a break." She spoke like she was talking about trying a new restaurant. "I just need space," she said. "Don't ask a million questions. This is about me, not you." I stood there with my mug in my hand. There was no big fight, no yelling, just a quiet ending. I nodded and said, "All right, just return the Amex card before you leave." She looked surprised. "What? Why?" I said, "Because you want space, and freedom comes with your own wallet." She did not argue. She picked up her bag and left. 10 minutes later, I called the card company and canceled the account. 12 minutes after that, she texted me. "Seriously? You canceled it?" I had things to take care of. I wrote back, "You're free now. Enjoy." She did not come home that night or the next. I slept alone and told myself I would not chase her. I would not beg. I did not tell anyone what happened. I just needed time to think. The first days were hard. The apartment felt like a museum of what we used to be. Her coat was still on the hook. Her shampoo was still in the shower. I did not touch anything. I just started cooking for myself again. I went back to the gym. I tried to keep my mind busy. Then I got a message from Elena, one of Melissa's friends. She said, "Just so you know, she's been staying at some guy's place." No name, no details, just the truth. I was not surprised. Deep down, I already knew. When she asked for space, she really meant she wanted someone else. 23 days after she walked out, I got a voicemail. Her voice was soft, not angry, not proud, just unsure. "I messed up. Can we talk?" I did not call back. I did not text. I just listened once, put the phone down, and went back to my day. A few days later, there was a knock at my door. I opened it, and there she was. No makeup, hair pulled back, wearing a hoodie. She looked around the apartment like she expected it to be different. It was exactly the same. She took a small step inside the hallway and said, "I made a mistake. He wasn't who I thought he was. I thought I needed freedom, but I needed us." I said nothing right away. I just turned and walked to the bedroom. When I came back, I was holding the duffel bag she had left half-packed in the closet the day she went away. I handed it to her. "This has your stuff. You left the rest with your decisions." Her eyes blinked fast, like she did not expect that answer. "I was confused," she started, but I cut her off calmly. "No, you weren't confused. You were entitled. You wanted all the benefits of marriage, the shared money, the support, the home, without the work. You got your break. Now I'm giving myself mine." She looked down at the bag like it was heavy. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She just stood there, realizing I was not going to ask questions or beg her to stay. She tried one last time, reaching out her hand toward mine. But I didn't move. I didn't pull away harshly. I just didn't meet her halfway. "I don't hate you," I said quietly, "but I don't respect who you became. And I can't love someone I don't respect." Her lips parted like she wanted to explain or apologize, but she stopped herself. She nodded slowly and took the bag. She looked around the apartment one last time, like she knew she would never step inside again. "I'll regret this forever," she whispered. I took a deep breath and said, "I hope you don't. I hope you learn from it." And that was it. No slammed doors, no big scene. Just a quiet exit, the kind that tells you both people know it's over. That night, I didn't wait for a text. None came. I didn't check her social media. I didn't drink to forget. I just made tea, read for a while, and slept peacefully for the first time in weeks. Weeks passed. The apartment started to feel like mine again. The spaces she once filled didn't feel empty anymore. They just felt settled. One afternoon at the gym, I ran into an old friend I hadn't seen in years. We talked and laughed like no time had passed. She asked if I wanted to grab coffee sometime. I said yes. Not because I wanted to replace Melissa or get revenge. I just wanted a real conversation. A simple connection with no lies hanging in the air. We met the next day. There was no pressure, no pretending, no walking on eggshells. I don't know where it will go, and I'm not rushing anything. But I'm also not closing myself off. Because that's something Melissa never understood. Real freedom doesn't come from running away. It comes from knowing who you are without someone else carrying the weight for you. She still views my stories sometimes. Sometimes she likes old posts. I see her name, but I never reply. Not out of anger. Just because there's no point. She got the independence she asked for, and I got something better. Peace. Even after she left that day, the sound of the door closing was not loud, but it carried a weight that stayed in the air. I sat down in the quiet apartment, feeling the kind of stillness that used to hurt, but now felt like a friend. For weeks, I had waited for some sign that she would understand what she had thrown away, and when she finally came back begging, I realized something important. I no longer needed her to understand. My peace did not depend on her regret. I had already faced the truth, that the woman I married was not the same person standing at my door with a hoodie and empty promises. I thought about all the nights I sat alone, wondering where she was, while she was building a new life with someone else. And I knew in that moment, letting her back in would mean betraying myself. So I let her walk away again, not because I wanted revenge, but because I finally valued myself more than I valued keeping something that was already broken. Life slowly started to feel like mine again. I began filling my days with things that made me feel alive, not just distracted. The gym became my routine, cooking became my quiet joy, and conversations with people who actually listened became my comfort. I stopped waiting for a text that would never come and started looking forward to mornings without the heavy weight of unanswered questions. Even seeing her name pop up on old posts didn't stir anything in me anymore. It was just a reminder that she was still looking back while I was moving forward. And maybe that's the biggest lesson in all of this. Sometimes the person who walks away thinks they're finding freedom, but what they're really doing is leaving it behind for someone else to discover. She thought independence meant escaping me, but for me, independence meant escaping the version of myself who would have taken her back. She got the space she wanted, and I got something she never offered. A life that felt peaceful, honest, and entirely my own.